Hi, I'm James Blake, Chief Executive at binary10, and welcome to the Data Migration Podcast.
So, Steve, we are here on our first podcast,
introductory
podcast for binary10. So, welcome along. I'm James Blake. I'm CEO of binary10. And Steve.
I'm Steve Smales, and I'm the COO. Don't know if that's pronounced COO.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pigeon, doesn't it?
COO is a normal expression for that. So we're going to be taking you through a series of podcasts, talking a little bit about binary10, a little bit about what we do, but really getting into data migration, which is our topic of expertise, we think. And it should be quite good. It should be quite, it'd be good for people to understand, some of the challenges we have with data migration, what we're looking to do in the future, how we can help. And hopefully we'll get some guest speakers in and, we'll try and make them somewhat entertaining as well. It's not always the easiest of subjects to make entertaining, but we'll give it our best shot. So birth of binary10, where did it all begin? Well, I can start off. So I think this actually happened 2017 we established binary10.
Yes,
God, it's nearly
it was a long time ago now, doesn't it?
8 years ago now. It's been a long journey, but I do remember it well. Me personally, I've always had a career in IT, started off very technical. And I remember going to a retail client for a contract where I was leading a migration, and met you, didn't I, Steve?
Yeah.
And it was the first time really that over a few years I'd honed a methodology for data migration, a way that I wanted to deliver it. And this was kind of the first time that I got to do that. And Steve was working alongside me on the project. We had another person helping us deliver as well. And I think that, I remember that project so fondly. It was a project that somehow we delivered it, just the three of us,
exactly.
When really it was a project for many, many more. But it just proved that the methodology, how we want to deliver DM worked, and the fact that, you, Steve, have got like a vast experience of data and functional and all this sort of thing. And you were the first person that was able to challenge that methodology and, even make it better, and this can work. And literally it went from, I remember we would talk about, we could, there's a business here. We keep hearing of these horror stories of DM not being delivered. And, it must have been a couple of conversations, a brief, should we do this? Should we try and set up an organization that really pays attention to data migration? Because, we're passionate about data, and, you hear these horror stories of millions and millions of pounds being wasted in both private and public sector projects. And we know that we can prevent that. We know that we can help it. So I think that's where it all started, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've both independently been working for many years in IT. I've been working in IT for more years than I'd care to remember. Mainly starting off in a technical background, then becoming functional, then project management, and I'd done many data migration projects as part of that, and seen some others that had gone horribly wrong. Thankfully, I wasn't involved in those. but no. So I think we've both done a lot of data migration before, as part of other companies, part of other consultancies. But when we started, together at that well-known high street retailer, which remains nameless, I think we both had strong ideas about how it should be done, and we had a huge amount of similarity in our way we thought we should do it, and that, your methodology that you'd worked on was very similar to what I'd been doing, and we just put our heads together, really, didn't we? And we come up with this methodology, and actually tweaked it over the years as well, where we thought necessary. And it just seems to work, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I think and you really helped me, because I think I was I always had it in the back of my mind to do this, but it was just having that encouragement or that kind of approval from a peer that that I well respected. And then it kind of it kind of grew from there, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, you came up with that idea of the consultancy. It's something I'd toyed with before, just as general system implementation consultancy many years earlier, but never got off the ground because I couldn't get the people I wanted to be involved in that to come along for the ride. I think a few people were a bit nervous about taking that next step. But when you came up with the idea, and I thought, well, yes, it's a feasible idea. There aren't that many specialist data migration consultancies around that have got the expertise that we had, and I just thought, yes, we can give it a go. Let's see if we can make a go of this. And because so I was, when you came up with the idea, and I thought, I'm fully on board with that. Let's give it a go and see where we get to.
And I think I remember speaking to other people in that organisation, and we were telling them about doing this, and we got so much positivity and so much backing. And I think that came down to the fact that, we've delivered obviously many, many more data migrations since then. But it was definitely one of those clients that had a culture that, they didn't understand data migration. That wasn't their world. That's not what they did. And actually, by the confidence levels we had and holding their hand, taking them through it, I think we became very well respected within that organisation, and a very trusted, sort of individuals. And that was the other thing that made me realise, God, this must be happening all over the place.
Yeah.
This is one retail organisation, and even in those organisations that are more technical, they still struggle with data migration. So, I think, of course, there was a leap of faith a little bit. We didn't know if this was going to work. And, we spent many years, just focusing on the client and ensuring we deliver, which we have. But yeah, it was definitely born back in that retail space, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think sort of testament to what you're saying there about the fact that we became sort of respected for what we were doing. I think what was really telling was people who eventually left the organisation to move to other retailers, mainly, kept calling us back, didn't they, and bringing us in for projects that their new employers rather. So, I mean, that was really sort of nice. You think, yes, we've actually made a good impression here. We've done a good job, and when the subject of finance transformation or system upgrade or what have you, new systems, when people started talking about data migration, it's like, those guys
absolutely
did really well on that. Let's call them up.
Yeah,
and we've got a lot of work through that.
That's proven, isn't it? In the IT director that worked for that retail company, I remember we took him through, some of our approach and what we're doing, and he just commended us, and he was like, "This is super impressive. This is fantastic." And since then, through word of mouth and through his word of mouth, that's brought us other projects where we've been able to help other organisations.
Yeah.
So I think that's testament, really, that we were definitely onto something, and I'm so glad, because I don't think we've looked back. Even we've been through COVID as is everybody, which was affecting us, but it didn't stop us. And we remain passionate about just preventing data migration disaster and just delivering these projects on time and to value, which is super important.
Yeah, and we've obviously COVID was bad, and we lost a lot of projects. We lost all our projects because obviously everything is shut down, and some of those projects weren't resumed after COVID because obviously it affects different companies in different ways. But we've managed to sort of get back on the upward sort of slope after that, heading back up up to sort of many projects running at the same time, and that's gone really well. And we've, I suppose, expanded into different sectors as well. So we started off as retail, we've now gone into higher education, central government, manufacturing, all sorts of different sectors.
Yeah, and I think that was always one of the big kind of pushes, wasn't it? The fact that, there's many consultancies out there that are very dedicated to one sector or one system, whereas we feel that we can apply this methodology and tool set to all sectors, to all systems. It's definitely a one size fits all. So I think, and what's great is there's still more exciting times to come.
Yeah.
We want to grow, we want to get bigger, we want to spread the word. We want everyone, okay, we won't get ahead of ourselves, definitely UK, and then the world, to be able to do these things properly.
Take over the world.
Take over the world. Yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see what we can. We'll see what we can achieve. But no, and that's what these podcasts are about. We're going to have lots of sessions where we really get into some of the meat of DM, which we hope will be helpful to people out there that are going through data migration projects. But also we want to let you into our world a little bit and talk a bit about how we're growing a business, and what challenges come along with that. Specifically in the IT world. We hope it's going to be, we hope these podcasts are going to be informative, but also, we can have a little bit of fun.
A little bit of fun, like when we tried to get the United Nations to authorise the International Data Migration Day that we came up with.
23rd of May?
Yeah, we've not had much luck getting that that pushed through by the UN yet, but we'll keep trying.
But we'll keep trying, won't we? We'll keep trying. But there you go. That's how it's all started, and we'll see where the journey takes us. But no, thank you, Steve, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Thanks so much for joining us on our podcast. If you'd like to know more, please visit us at binary10.uk.com. And if you'd like to come and see more of our podcasts, please subscribe.